On June 12, 2025, tragedy struck just minutes after Air India flight AI-171, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, registration VT-ANB, departed from Ahmedabad en route to London Gatwick. With 230 passengers and 12 crew on board, the flight issued a desperate mayday call at approximately 1:38 p.m. IST before crashing into the hostel block of BJ Medical College, taking off again into a fireball that would leave the nation in shock. In what would become India's deadliest single aircraft crash, 241 lives were lost on board, with 28 or more victims on the ground, even as one lone survivor, Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, miraculously lived to tell the story. This was not just any crash, it marks the first fatal accident involving a Boeing Dreamliner 787 since its debut in 2011 and shattered the aircraft's impeccable safety record. In today's episode, we'll unpack the full story, from the initial moments of takeoff to the human stories, rescue efforts, and ongoing investigation. Stay with us. Flight AI-171 pushed back from Gate 23 at 1:38 p.m. IST on June 12, 2025, rolling down the runway at Ahmedabad's Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport. From full of promise at takeoff to catastrophe in seconds, the crash stunned the aviation world and brought a beacon of safety into question. The aircraft, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, registration VT-ANB, lifted off into clear skies and climbed to about 625 feet, 190 meters, above ground before tragedy struck. Just before reaching safety, the crew transmitted a mayday call, signaling a critical emergency on board. Then radar and radio contact abruptly ceased, leaving air traffic controllers in shock. Mere 30 seconds after takeoff, the aircraft, now descending and engulfed in flames, plummeted into the hostel complex of BJ Medical College, triggering loud explosions and clouds of thick black smoke seen from miles around. Visible in eyewitness footage were the aircraft's extended landing gear and misaligned flaps, suggesting technical or configuration issues may have contributed to a sudden loss of lift. The impact was devastating. All 241 people on board Air India flight AI-171 lost their lives, including 169 Indian nationals and 53 British citizens. At least 28 more were killed on the ground when the aircraft struck the BJ Medical College hostel, leaving the local community in deep shock. But in the middle of this overwhelming tragedy, one man survived. Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, a 40-year-old British national of Indian origin. Seated near an emergency exit in seat 11A, Ramesh somehow escaped the wreckage with minor injuries. In his own words, 30 seconds after takeoff there was a loud sound, and then the crash. It all happened so fast. I got up and ran. Investigators believe his position near the emergency exit and the partial integrity of that section of the aircraft may have saved his life. Tragically, his brother, who was seated nearby, did not survive. On the ground, medical students and staff were among the casualties. Many were trapped under debris, and the destruction extended far beyond the crash zone. For families of victims in both the air and on the ground, the emotional toll has been unimaginable. The survival of one man offered a sliver of hope, but it also underscored the scale of loss suffered in what has become one of the darkest days in Indian aviation history.
In the moments following the crash, what unfolded in Ahmedabad was nothing short of a massive emergency operation. The sky was still thick with smoke when over 337 firefighters rushed to the scene, joined by 60 fire engines, battling flames fueled by nearly 1.25 lakh liters of jet fuel. The inferno, reaching temperatures of over 1,000 degrees Celsius, consumed the crash site in seconds. As sirens echoed through the city, reinforcements poured in. 3 teams from the National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, were deployed alongside 150 CRPF personnel, 2 BSF squads, and airport CISF guards, forming a multi-layered rescue force. Local police and emergency medical teams worked side by side with soldiers, paramedics, and civilian volunteers. Even the Indian Army joined the mission, deploying around 130 soldiers and placing a nearby military hospital on alert. From the railway sector, Western Railway's disaster management team mobilized doctors, ambulances, and safety crews. The site of the crash, the hostel complex at BJ Medical College, was devastated. Rescue workers had to navigate collapsed walls, flaming debris, and overturned structures to search for survivors. The Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation sent in earth movers, excavators, and more than 150 vehicles to clear rubble and retrieve evidence, including the crucial flight data recorder, which had landed on the rooftop of the hostel's mess hall. As body after body was pulled from the wreckage, many too charred to be identified, DNA testing centers were quickly set up at Civil Hospital and BJ Medical College. Heartbroken families lined up to provide samples, hoping to find closure. By nightfall, more than 270 bodies had been recovered. Emergency shelters were established for those displaced, and grief swept across the nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah visited the site, promising swift aid and full government support. In just 48 hours, the crash site transformed from chaos to controlled recovery, a testament to the courage and coordination of every rescue agency involved. It was one of the largest emergency responses in recent Indian aviation history. As the rescue operations concluded, focus quickly shifted to uncovering the cause of the tragic crash. Just 28 hours after the incident, investigators recovered the flight data recorder, the first of the black boxes, from the rooftop of a hostel building. It contained key information, engine performance, altitude, speed, and more. Soon after, the cockpit voice recorder was also found, capturing the final conversations between the pilots, emergency alarms, and possible distress calls, giving investigators a clearer picture of what happened in those final moments. The investigation is being led by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, AAIB, with support from experts from the US NTSB, UK's EYE, Boeing, and GE Aerospace. Their mission: to determine whether the cause was a mechanical failure, human error, or something else entirely. Early analysis raised questions. Why did the landing gear remain extended during takeoff? Was there an unexpected engine thrust issue? Or a problem with the flaps? These clues could explain the sudden loss of lift shortly after takeoff. Some theories, like bird strikes, have already been ruled out. Investigators found no evidence of bird ingestion in the engines. In response, India's Aviation Authority has ordered inspections of similar aircraft models, emphasizing safety until a full explanation emerges. As the black box data is decoded, the world watches and waits. For the families and loved ones of those lost, answers can't come soon enough. In just a few minutes, a routine flight turned into one of India's deadliest aviation tragedies. Families were shattered, dreams were lost, and a city was left scarred. Yet, amidst the devastation, the spirit of humanity shone through, from the tireless efforts of rescue teams, to the strength of survivors, and the unity shown by an entire nation in mourning. As investigations continue, one thing remains clear: every life lost must be honored, not just with remembrance, but with the resolve to ensure such a tragedy never repeats again. This has been Eye on Earth TV. If you found this report informative, consider subscribing and sharing. Let's keep raising awareness, because every story matters.